if we're making a case, as I have, that we don't want, we can't help people overcome ambivalence by persuasion, direction, confronting, pressure, how do we resolve it? The first part of the answer taps into what I have called the pressure paradox, which is really just an insight that goes all the way back to Carl Rogers in the 1940s, which is that acceptance facilitates change in the same way that pressure to change elicits resistance to change. And we talk about the spirit of motivational of interviewing, an attitude or set of attitudes that we bring to the conversation, as having two broad components for how we approach the client, the ambivalent client. One of them is the relational component to MI, which capitalizes on the pressure paradox. First of all, we only do MI in the interest of the person that we are working with. The fundamental spirit of compassion, concern for their suffering, and our desire to help them overcome the suffering has to be there in order for us to do MI ethically and effectively. But compassion also, as it's been written about, particularly in the self-compassion literature, has to do with a sense, or it comes from a sense of shared humanity, the realization that we're all in the same boat, that it's really hard and it takes courage to make choices without knowing for sure that we're making the right one until afterwards. And knowing that even with the best intentions, and even if we put a lot of thought and effort into a decision or a choice, that we still are bound to make mistakes despite our best intentions and our good judgment. And knowing that about ourselves helps us maintain compassion for our clients, and knowing the same thing for them. So that openness to and desire to not pressure the client, but to be compassionate towards them is always the starting point for motivational interviewing practice. That then makes it easier, or allows us to maintain what we call acceptance in MI, which itself has four components. The belief that people have a natural tendency towards growth, and that my role is to value the person for who they are, not for who they'll become. The desire to affirm them or look to see them through an affirming lens, which Rogers called unconditional positive regard, or what he also called prizing, which is the term that I have always preferred. It's looking at the client through the eyes of love. The same way that if a child brings a drawing to you and you look at that drawing and you say, oh, how beautiful, you're not just pretending it's beautiful. It is beautiful to you because it was made by your child and it expresses their creativity. And if we prize their productions, they themselves will prize it as well. So that attunement to the client's strengths, their positive qualities, rather than their deficits or their lacks. We don't look at our clients through an objective lens. We look at them through an affirming lens when we're doing MI. Autonomy support. Explicit and intentional and consistent respect for and honoring of the client's right and capacity for self-determination. Recognizing that the client is the one who is responsible for making the change, which of course we all believe, but making that central to our practice and knowing that if the client is going to change, it's only going to be because they have decided to do so. And accurate empathy. A consistent ability to communicate to the client an accurate understanding of their thoughts and feelings, and to do so without judgment. The third component of the relational, third aspect of the relational component of the spirit of MI, partnership, goes past acceptance towards an active collaboration with the person. This is beginning to move from a purely non-directive, non-directional kind of counseling towards a counseling approach that recognizes that we need to team up, and we're most likely to be successful in helping people change when my aspirations for the client and the client's aspirations for themselves intertwine. And the knowledge that we each have our own expertise, that we do know how to help people change, and we have a genuine expertise in doing that. And the client knows themselves and what they care about most and what will work for them, and they have that genuine expertise. And finding the collaboration, the willingness to move together forward as a team is a crucial component of MI. Another way to say that is that it has to do with sharing power. That in MI, we think of ourselves as being in an egalitarian power relationship with the client. It's not us as the expert telling the client what to do. And it's also not us just along for the ride. We are at an equal level with our client when we're doing MI. We're sharing power with them. And power sharing often requires negotiation. If I want to do something and you want to do something else, I can't impose my wish to do something on you. You can't impose it on me. We can try, but we're likely to be at loggerheads. Instead, we have to negotiate a way forward that meets both of our needs. And that gives each of us a say in the conversation. And we'll talk about how we do that, MI, as we go further into this day.